Hello you fine ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? I do hope your day is going well. Today we're going over another loadout for Star Wars Battlefront, this time the Nathan Drake Loadout from the Uncharted series. The final chapter in this series, Uncharted 4, was released a while back now, and it was pretty sad when I finished the game because that was it. That was the final chapter. So I thought it would be really nice to revisit the game in a sense and make a loadout themed after the main protagonist in Uncharted, Nathan Drake. But enough reminiscing, let's get into the specifics of this loadout. Seeing as you use a variety of weapons in Uncharted, I decided to go with the pistol that's carried by Nathan Drake the majority of the time, and it is also shown in a lot of the posters and trailers for the game. We're using the DL-18 to represent that because it does have a similar fire rate and damage. Now the star cards we're going to be using are the thermal detonator. If you've ever played Uncharted, you know that thermal detonators, or grenades in that game of course, are very useful, and Nathan Drake almost always has one on hand. We're also going to be using the jump pack, which may come as a surprise because of course Nathan Drake does not have a jetpack. Although in Uncharted 4 he does have a grappling hook which he uses to fly around the map, and that's kind of what the jump pack does in Battlefront as well. It does play out kind of similarly, so it works. Also, we're using the explosive shot because of course that adds that kind of explosive aspect to your blaster, and in Uncharted 4 you pick up certain weapons that have that explosive aspect to them, so that kind of represents those weapons that you might pick up while in the game. Now for our trait, we're using the Berserker trait. None of the traits correlate too well with Nathan Drake and characters in Uncharted 4, however the Berserker trait goes really well with the DL-18, and as you know, in Uncharted 4, as the protagonist, you're usually dealing more damage than the AI, so that's kind of what the Berserker trait allows you to do. It allows you to deal more damage than anyone else on the battlefield, and that means it's similar to Uncharted in that way. So now let's get into some tips and tricks on how to use this loadout to its maximum potential. Now this is not the most versatile loadout you're going to come across in this game. It's also not the best. The DL-18 is by no means the best blaster in the game, though it's very accurate and also has decent range as well as a good fire rate, which means its lackluster damage is not that big of a deal. Now the DL-44 would have also been a compatible choice to use for this loadout, seeing as it is also similar to the pistol Nathan Drake uses, but I went with the DL-18 for a specific reason. It's because the star cards in this loadout correlate really well with maps that are kind of focused on medium to short range, though not constricted hallways and choke points like you see with many loadouts. This is more for open maps, and the DL-44 is not that great at those open scenarios, whereas its cousin, the DL-18, is far better off, as it does have that higher fire rate, meaning you can get off more shots before the blaster overheats. So keeping that in mind, I would definitely suggest playing game modes where you mostly play on maps that are larger, open spaced maps, do have some cover of course, but are also not nearing that long range, because the DL-18 is not a long range blaster, and I don't know if it ever will be. So definitely stick to close to medium range maps, although not constricted maps, because the DL-18 is not going to beat out too many blasters in those engagements. Now the explosive shot, as you may know if you've used it recently, makes your blaster overheat so much quicker. So if you see a group of enemies and you're like, wow, perfect chance to use my explosive shot, not really. The explosive shot will overheat the DL-18 really quickly, meaning you can maybe take out 2 enemies maximum with the explosive shot. So it is useful because it does up the damage, but it's not something to be used all the time and in every combat situation. Only when you have to have that quick increase in damage is the explosive shot really useful to use. Also, the jump pack can be used for more than just getting around the map quicker. If you find yourself encumbered by enemies and you have your trait up to a nice high level and you want to keep it there, use the jump pack to escape that situation as quickly as possible. so that is why the jump pack is a really valuable asset in that sense. Also, for using the Berserker trait, it no longer has that 50% damage resistance at rank 3, so you're going to have just as much health as everyone else on the battlefield, which means unlike the olden days with the Berserker trait, you're going to have to play somewhat conservatively when using this and still stay back in cover, kind of in the back lines, and not just throw yourself into the enemy lines. So that is all for today. I hope you all enjoyed this loadout. Again, if you have any loadout suggestions, please put them in the comments down below, and they may be featured in the next loadout video. So thank you all for watching. If you wish to subscribe, you're more than welcome to. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.